Welcome to S24 Rundown, where we bring you the latest updates, key developments, and major headlines from across the country and beyond. I am Gloria Atta, and here's our news in brief. To start with, a civil society organization, the Center for Reforms and Public Advocacy, has filed a suit before the Federal High Court in Kano, seeking to disqualify President Bola Ahmed Tinubu from contesting the 2027 presidential election. The group alleges that the president submitted forged academic Youth Service Corps certificates to the Independent National Electoral Commission during the 2023 presidential election and is asking the court to stop INEC from accepting any future nomination by him. The suit also names the Electoral Commission and Chicago State University as defendants. As of the time of filing the case, no hearing date had been fixed and the defendants had not filed responses. The allegations remain before the court and have not been established. Away from politics, mixed reactions have continued to trail the federal government's approval of sweeping reforms to the National Youth Service Corps (NYSC) scheme, with many Nigerians welcoming this, while others remain skeptical about their implementation. The reforms approved by the Federal Executive Council an expanded 6-week orientation program and digital skills and skills-based postings aligned with graduates' qualifications. Supporters have welcomed the initiative, describing the reforms as timely, saying they could better prepare young graduates for today's labor market while improving security during service. However, some of the stakeholders argue that previous reform promises produced little change. They are calling for improved welfare, better accommodation, upgraded orientation camps, and prompt payment of allowances, stressing that structural reforms must be backed by adequate funding and transparency. The federal government says the reforms are aimed at transforming the 53-year-old NYSC into a modern, skills-driven institution that promises youth development, national unity, and economic growth, with amendments to the NYSC Act expected to provide the legal framework for implementation. The federal government has urged petroleum marketers to reduce the pump price of petrol to reflect the recent decline in global crude oil prices. While reiterating that fuel pricing remains market-driven under the regulated petroleum sector, Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Oil, Heineken, Lokpobiri, and said the easing of tensions in the Middle East has lowered international crude prices and should ordinarily translate to cheaper petrol in Nigeria. He, however, noted that the government can no longer fix prices under the Petroleum Industry Act. Regulators have a duty to prevent profiteering and protect consumers from unfair pricing practices. Lokpobiri also said the regulation has improved fuel availability, ended persistent shortages, and attracted investments in local refining, including the Dangote refinery. Meanwhile, the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission has warned marketers against exploiting consumers, threatening sanctions over unjustified fuel prices, despite falling crude oil costs. Now, the federal government will on Wednesday launch the Digital National Education Management Information System, DNEMIS, a platform designed to provide accurate real-time data on schools, teachers, and learners across the country. Speaking in Abuja, National Project Coordinator fragmented and unreliable education data, improving planning, budgeting, and policy implementation. He said DNEMIS will create a unified national database capturing every learner, teacher, school, and public investment in education. Also speaking, the Special Assistant to the Minister of Education on Digital Communications and E-Learning, Mojoyin Adebajo, said the platform will digitize the annual school census and provide government with reliable data to support evidence-based decision-making. And in health, Lagos with 10,430 cases, according to the Federal Ministry of Health State of Health of the Nation report. The report shows that 102,025 new HIV infections were recorded nationwide, with Rivers State reporting 6,287 cases and Kano 6,106. Health experts say the figures highlight that HIV remains a major public health challenge despite expanded access to treatment and prevention programs. They are calling for sustained investment in testing, public awareness, and prevention, particularly among young people, women, and other vulnerable groups to help Nigeria meet its target of ending AIDS as a public health threat by 2030. Moving on to the foreign scene, Uganda's Chief of Defense Staff, Muhoozi Kainerugaba, has ordered the shutdown of some of the country's leading private media organizations, raising fresh concerns over press freedom. Broadcast operations at NTV Uganda and Spark TV were disrupted, while the Daily Monitor also came under the crackdown after security personnel reportedly took control of the Nation Media Group headquarters in Kampala. Kainerugaba, who is also the son of the president, Museveni, defended the action, insisting the affected outlets would remain closed until he approved their reopening. He also declared that he does not believe in a free press and warned that more media operations could face similar sanctions. Now the crackdown comes as Uganda prepares for another election cycle, with rights groups expected to raise concerns over shrinking civic space and freedom of expression. Moving on to business news with Shukra Oniye. Stay with us.
Hello and welcome to your business news update. I am Oniye Shukra. Nigeria's economy continued to navigate a changing business environment with strong performances in trade and the capital market, even as businesses adjust to new reforms and evolving market realities. First, to trade. Africa's total trade volume has reached an impressive $1 trillion in June, as investors took profit for market gains. Analysts, however, say ongoing economic reforms and improved investor confidence continue to sustain market resilience. In another development, companies across Nigeria are racing to beat the federal government's June 30 deadline for mandatory electronic invoicing. Businesses with annual turnovers of 5 billion naira and above risk sanction and could lose access to certain tax benefits if they fail to comply with the new policy aimed at modernizing tax administration and boosting government revenue. Now to the foreign exchange market. The naira traded at approximately 1,379.8 to the United States dollar at the official market. The relative stability has been attributed to improved foreign exchange inflows and sustained economic reforms. And the international market, Canadian banking giant BMO Financial Group has announced plans to acquire the Australian capital market businesses of Euro's Hartley's Group. The acquisition is expected to strengthen BMO's global leadership in the metals and mining sector while expanding international investment banking footprint. And that's it on Business Update. Next, we'll be joining Gloria Atana Abubakar Tureki on Newspaper Review as they dissect today's dailies. Stay with us.
Thank you, Shukra, and welcome back from that break. We'll be moving straight to our next segment, which is the newspaper review with Abubakar Turaki. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well.
It's always a pleasure and a great delight to have you here.
Thank you so much for the invitation.
All right.
Usual.
All right. So let's just jump straight to our business for today. beginning with our first newspaper, which is the Nigerian Tribune. And on the front page, it says 53 years after NYSC. 53 years after, rather, NYSC to undergo reform. Now, why do you think this is coming at this point in time?
Well, I'm really excited with what I saw yesterday after the first executive council meeting. And the reform actually came at the right moment and at the right time. And I believe those started with the responsibility will go beyond rhetoric. They will go beyond newspaper headline, and they will go ahead and implement all the reform that they brought into the implementation. Because I don't think if that NYSC reform is actually reflecting with the current realities, almost 53 years, at least we needed to kind of like have a kind of like an amendment so that we can at least go with the realities. And if you go through it, what they are actually proposing, and which I believe the government of President Tinubu will do everything possible to implement if they are not being distracted with 2027 elections. The problem of people, youth corps members are going to spend at least like 6 weeks in the camp, which they are going to be exposed to skills and acquisition training, Said and the rest. And part of the major reason they are now going to send corpers based on their own professionality and based on things that will at least uplift them, because we are now in 21st century. We are talking of artificial intelligence, we are talking of skills, we are talking of technological know-how that will at least alleviate what is currently going on in this country.
But sorry to cut you short. Some analysts are, however, arguing that this is a misplaced priority, that there are several other issues that involve or that require national attention. Do you agree with that?
We should always open our heart and embrace everything that comes from the government with the positive angle of the eye. The government cannot be everywhere, and the government cannot be anywhere. Whatever government do, I know there are certain things that are very, very pivotal, that are very, very vital at this critical moment, especially with the security architecture of our state.
Yeah.
But at least for the past 53 years, at least NYC need to be rejected, so that part of the things that are not even reflecting to the contemporary realities, they need to be looked out. And this is to tell you, this is one of the greatest legacy in this world is legacy. One of the legacies laid down by those military people is part of this NYSC.
Yes.
After what happened and subsequently they introduced this NYSC, I believe it was one of the major reason why Nigeria is still Nigeria today.
Yeah.
Part of the major reason why it was introduced was reconstruction, rehabilitation,
yes,
I can't remember the other R. And you and I knew that people actually met through this NYSC, and they make a lot of impact. I can remember when I actually posted to Kano to serve before I relocated back to where I am. I met a lot of people from the east, from the south, and we became friends.
Yes. Just to also take your mind back, and also the mind of our viewers. This is not the first time that we had calls for reforms to the NYSC. There have been times when Nigerians have even asked for it to be scrapped completely. So people, analysts and observers are now saying that, will this be something that would eventually see the light of day, or it is something that will just end up becoming one of those promises? So do you think this is going to move from just talk to full implementation?
It's going to see the light of the day because of looking at the political tension that is currently going on.
Yeah.
I believe some of the policies brought by this government, they may likely campaign under that. How the government, when they came into power, they were able to at least withdraw a lot of things. So I believe they will actually try and push it so that they can see the light of the day, which is going to be a kind of like the campaign blueprint. And one of the major reasons why I actually disregard myself from one of this reform is like this reform is going to come like some people that are being going to send into some conflicted areas. People may likely consider that, because part of the major reason the reintegration is very, very good. You may find a situation whereby somebody is actually being born in Lagos, he's schooled in Lagos, he's from Lagos. Look at the level of kind of you will find there. But at least if you school in Lagos, you do your secondary school in Anambra, you do your university in Kano, you do your NYSC in Kaduna, at least you must be cosmopolitan. The kind of accommodation.
But you know, a number of people are actually saying that this scheme is no longer very relevant, because you just said it rightly now that you were posted to one state and then you relocated. And this is something that we've seen several times, especially with insecurity. Even me, during my time, I was posted to a certain state, and because of a number of factors, I went there, of course, but I eventually relocated closer to home. So don't you think that the aim is actually being defeated, and
no, it's not defeated.
the calls that it should be scrapped or it should just be discarded is right at this point?
No, it's actually, sorry to call you, Sha. No matter what, at least the scheme will actually continue to see the light of the day.
Oh, right.
And I also want to reflect back to our minds, like what they are saying now. I could remember the standard under the sun or in the rain, with dedication and selflessness. Nigeria is ours, Nigeria we serve.
Yes.
So we'll continue to serve Nigeria. And I pray a lot of schemes that will continue to make this country in one, united and prosperous, will come, will see the light of the day.
Amen.
Because we so
Amen.
much
So
believe
that is
that
our
Nigeria
prayer.
is one, Nigeria will be great, and one day we are going to be proud of Nigeria, far beyond the way we are even proud of Nigeria today.
Yeah,
I'm a
thank you
patriotic
so
Nigerian,
much.
and I love to see my country
Yes,
excelling.
and we really appreciate that positivity at every point in time. So let's just quickly move to our second newspaper, and we'll be turning to the Daily Trust newspaper. And on the front page, it says, "Teacher killed, students abducted, 10 rescued." Again, we are seeing this on, it saddens me that we have to talk about this issue, but we just have to. So let me hear your thoughts.
You know, the problem with insecurity, it has become a daily
occurrence,
a daily meal to Nigerians. And I think this is the right moment for our leaders to step down honorably, because they have failed to protect the lives of innocent Nigerians who voted for them, who they are always counting on them to protect them.
Yeah.
Virtually all part of this country is not at ease. Even the almighty Lagos, we knew what happened to Lagos last week.
Yes, indeed.
And now look at it. For the past 20 years, Northeast, especially Borno, have been terrorized by what we call Boko Haram militia, all those people from ISWAP. Where are we heading to in this country? I really don't even want to speak on the security problem in this country. I think, Gloria, we should try and keep on analyzing way out.
Yes,
because the problem of insecurity is now becoming very, very unsurmountable in this country. And those that with the responsibility have failed. And I always reflect back to 2014, when the country was intense, when the opposition were free to speak.
Yes.
When the opposition were cherished, when the opposition were glorified as the messiah of change, when the opposition were seen as those people that can only alleviate the suffering of Nigerians, when they were campaigning, everybody took to the street of Abuja or Kano or Lagos campaigning that former President Goodluck Jonathan have failed to scare Nigerians. So was that a northern hypocrisy?
Yeah, so now when it now comes to reforms, what should the government be doing? We've said it over and over and over again, but we still have to keep talking. What reforms should they put to ensure the protection of students? Because when it comes to these cases of kidnappings and abductions, students are always the target. We know that in Borno, there were students that were actually writing the NECO examinations. So what reforms should the government be putting seriously, short-term reforms that can ensure that students can go to school, have access to education, and achieve their dreams without fear?
I think the government need to remember, if they are going to their office tomorrow, I think let me call them, let them go into their office gallery and archive. They should look at the pictures of people that came and left. So definitely sooner or later, they are also going to leave.
Yeah.
And the greatest legacy in this world is legacy. It's more honorable for you to relinquish in an amicable and honorable manner than you being relinquishing at the end of your tenure. People will be cursing at you. People will be lamenting on your leadership. People will be causing all sorts of atrocity under your leadership. You need to remember, you swore with the Holy Quran or the Bible that you will protect the life of innocent Nigerians.
Yes.
But under your watch, under your stewardship, you just went into the office blindly. Basically, you don't have any solution to the problem of insecurity. I think I will appreciate the government, from the government at the top, even the government at the periphery, that is the federal government, state government, and even the local government, if they can at least halt any kind of project, any kind of developmental project, and let us just focus in bringing suitable and sustainable solutions to the problem of insecurity in this country. I think Nigerians will appreciate that. And if they can address the problem of insecurity, I believe 2027 Nigerians will go out and vote for them so that they can continue their
so
own
much, Abubakar. Thank you so much.
Governance.
He has said it. He has said it all, that the best legacy anybody can leave is a lasting legacy. And it's always wonderful to have you here. So that's all we can take on our newspaper review today. Up next is S24 Report, coming to you after the break. Stay with us.
In Lagos, Nigeria's commercial capital, opportunity moves as fast as the cargo flowing through its busy ports. For Etuk, that constant motion inspired a career dedicated to solving problems and helping. A trained pharmacist turned entrepreneur and venture capitalist, Etuk found her calling in logistics after witnessing firsthand the challenges businesses face in moving goods across Nigeria.
Everything happens in Lagos. I see so many people complain about Lagos, but I've gotten the most opportunities in my life here in Lagos. The city encourages you, like you can't even relax. The person next to you has come up with something else. People that you see people online, oh, I've been in Lagos for 1 year and I've just bought my, I'm like, oh my God, I've been here all my life. So there's always something to, as our people will say, ginger you in Lagos. Nobody is ever resting on their oars.
With degrees from the University of Lagos and the University of Success, Etuk entered the logistic industry with a passion for tackling complex operational challenges. While working in healthcare, she saw how difficult it was to deliver medication efficiently across Nigeria. The experience led her to co-found Messenger, from deliveries to chain management. Today, her focus has shifted from building a single company to helping many others succeed. As program director at Cascador, she works with mid-stage entrepreneurs seeking to scale their businesses and reach new markets.
We focus on mid-stage entrepreneurs. That's basically like the messy middle. They've gone past the ideation stage. They've been in business for at least 2 years. They've started to see some traction in their business. So they already have that drive and that grit. It's more like, how do we now scale this business? It's going from I serve 100 customers to say, how can I serve 1,000? How can I serve the next 10,000 customers?
For entrepreneurs like Oluwafemi Bewaji, their guidance has been transformative.
Going into a mentorship program was actually what changed it all for us, how we need to see things different, the kind of approach we need to engage in, and how we need to also scale and sustain over a period of time. So yes, I think it's encouraged that all founders should definitely go into one form of mentorship or have one mentor or the other that they're discussing things with.
Bewaji says Etuk's understanding of the reality entrepreneurs face has made our mentorship particularly valuable.
For her, she has lived it, she has seen it, she felt it, and she decided to move over to the space. I think you can't overemphasize the impact she's going to have because she feels this guys, she understands the pulse of these business owners. And it's easy for her to also help us convey that message to the investors. So, like, I can tell you within a short time, the impact of investors from the banking sectors, but also try to get people that have done and built businesses to be part of their team.
Timing could not be better, as across Africa, investment activity continues to create opportunity for entrepreneurs looking to expand their businesses.
Last year, 2024, the Africa Venture Capital Association reported $3.6 billion, that's billion with a B, in total deal size, right? So deal volume. And this was, of course, across 450 deals on the continent. So that is a significant number, anyhow you choose to look at it, which speaks to the opportunities that are here.
But for Etuk, success goes beyond investment figures and revenue growth. It is about helping people achieve goals they once thought was impossible.
I think my purpose really is to help birth things. That's really my purpose. Talking to entrepreneurs and being able to contribute one aspect, it makes me happy. It keeps me up at night, and it this opportunity based on our conversation or the insights that we got from you. And that's the most rewarding feeling, seeing people earn more because of your intervention, seeing people go on to succeed, even when you might have the thing, being able to do that.
As the latest an ambition, Amanda Etuk is helping the generation of African entrepreneurs, one business, one idea, and one opportunity at a time.
Welcome back from that break, and this is Political Arena. My name is Abubakar Shraki. Nigeria's political space is evolving, and young people are no longer passive observers. From hashtag movement to policy advocacy, digital activism has become a powerful tool for shaping public discourse. Yet, caution remains about its tangible impact when compared to structures, legislative engagement. Now, the caution is, can online pressure translate into enforceable law, or does real change still depend on institutional process-led advocacy intersect with legislative responsibility, and whether the current system is responsive enough for youth demand? Honorable Abbas, welcome to Political Arena.
Thank you for having me.
So, Honorable Abbas, in a nutshell, what is Nigerian Youth Parliament? Okay,
so thank you for having me here. It's actually a pleasure. For Nigerian Youth Parliament, it's more of a training ground. It's a training arena for young people to understand legislative procedures, what is basically happening around them, and then it's more like this where youth can deliberate about issues concerning young people particularly, and then profile solution, and then see how these things can turn into meaningful engagements. So what we do at the Nigerian Parliament is, after we profile solutions during our plenaries and everything, we offer solutions to the government. This is what is happening. This is what the young people are seeing. This is what they want. And then these solutions can translate into laws. They can translate into bills. They can translate into meaningful actions by the government. So in a nutshell, this is what the Nigerian Parliament is all about.
Thank you, Abbas. Yeah. So what do you think digital activism lead to real change or just temporary solution based on your parliamentary experience?
I think both.
Okay.
Yeah, I think both, because so when we say digital activism, this is where we're talking about the use of media, especially social media, as young people, as Gen Z that we had. So it's basically the use of social media. So when we say digital activism, we need the media to push for solutions, to push for issues that are affecting us directly. So this so both the digital media is used to raise awareness, and then you can't just raise awareness and basically that's it, and then you stop. You need to go down to the level that these solutions can be imposed. So basically, I think both can work.
Okay. Recently, we have seen so many online social media campaigns, and most of the campaign were unable to see the light of the day. So why do you think that so many online campaigns failed to see the light of the day?
So just like I said, it's always it's always the awareness. So online gives you this awareness. Yes, it gives you the room to talk about it. People will know from the nooks and crannies of every part of Nigeria. People will know, okay, this is what we are talking about, and this is what we want. Maybe this is what we want the government to do for us. Or there is insecurity, and we're talking about insecurity. So, but online campaigns, they limit the heaviness of things. So you could see that when we talk about insecurity, it's actually not small. It's not a little thing that we can just talk about from. It's a national issue. It should be an emergency. So now, if you talk about insecurity and then on a post, okay, so thing has happened in Gombe, in Yamal Tudeba also, and then that's it.
Where you are representing.
Yeah, of course. Just for example, and then that's it. So you could see that it's actually just a post, and you're talking about a national issue. So it just gives you that awareness, and if it goes like that, and that's it.
Okay, so you mean the youth have to reshape the way
it's sent to the National Assembly, Prime Minister of Youth, to the Senate, to the President himself, after we've deliberated on everything, and then we send to them to say, okay, this is what we think we need. We need an amendment to this bill that the National Assembly is talking about, all of that, those things. Now, for Nigerian Youth Parliament, if you look at, I'll just give you an example. Not this particular session. This is the 6th session of the Nigerian Youth Parliament, which I am part of. I think if you look at the Not Too Young to Run bill, Nigerian Youth Parliament was basically part of the Not Too Young to Run bill. Yes. So these are issues that have been deliberated during their plenary, and then it went out. You know, it got the youth organizations, and then there was a movement when it comes to the Not Too Young to Run bill. Now, it has become a law, and you could see that young people have been. That law has helped young people to be part of the decision making in all the political seats we have in Nigeria. So you could see that the Nigerian Parliament was part of that thing, and these are some of the bills we've been working on. So for the 6th session, some of the motions we've worked on. So last year, December, we were at Katsina, so we had our plenary at the Katsina State House of Assembly. And some of the motions are particularly what is happening to young people. I will give you an example, a motion that we were able to deliberate on. It's the a motion for the sanction of the Neo Life activities. I don't know whether you know Neo Life. It's more like a platform where these people make young people, they exploit young people. Basically, yes, it's basically exploitation. And then so we were able to push for this motion. And then the National Orientation Agency and everything, we were trying to see how we can work with them to have more awareness, and then how the Neo Life can be sanctioned. Now, another example of the motion we were able to deliberate on the floor, even though that motion was in the courts, it's for the payment of the backlogs of, so I supported that motion, yeah, for the payment of the backlog of the N-Power beneficiaries. If we know that N-Power beneficiaries have not, there are still backlogs of N-Power beneficiaries that are still yet to be paid. Okay, Abbas. Yeah.
Has any of your work been influenced by social media campaigns?
Yeah, of course. Just like I said, the Not Too Young to Run bill. Yes, Not Too Young to Run movement was, so Nigerian Parliament was part of that movement. And then the media, social media was one of the things that helped that thing to went viral. So I would also talk about the reserved seats for women bill. So in as much as it's not something that the Nigerian Parliament has deliberated on the floor of the plenary, but it's something that the social media has also taken up. It's in the media, and then people are seeing it, and then there is possibility of it making the light of the day. Yeah.
Okay, but there have been some accusation that is going on all over social media, accusing the Nigerian Youth Parliament, especially young parliamentarian like you, that sometimes you're just answerable to your senior lawmakers. How legit is that?
I think
even though there must be a synergy.
Yeah, of course. So I think mostly what we normally do with our senior lawmakers is just basically collaboration. So far, as part of the work we've been doing and the activities we've been doing, we were able to collaborate and partner with the Committee on Youth Development, which is chaired by Honorable Senator from Ekiti State, so Honorable Aderemadu. So we've been able to, so it's basically partnerships and collaboration. We cannot work without them. So we have to come to them, and it's a learning process. So they have to show us, this is how it's done and this is how it's done. So basically, we've been collaborating and partnering with the Senate, particularly the Senate.
Okay, Abbas, before your tenure ends, what work do you have for your people from Gombe Central? So, even though it's a learning ground.
Yeah. So, as you said, it's a learning ground. So, basically, what I've been pushing for is, so this is an experience. And I would love other young people to have this kind of experience. I've been part of the Nigerian Parliament. I was
from the
State Youth Parliament.
Yeah.
I was with the State Youth Parliament, and then I'm here with the Nigerian Parliament. So basically, it's an experience, and there is a way to shape you. Apart from the experience, there is this networking it will also give you. Yes, so it's more like a national movement that Nigerian Parliament can actually build. We have over 500 alumni which have been members. Some of them have been members of the House of Representatives, the contestants for State House of Assembly, some are even contesting for governorship election, So it's a movement that the whole parliament can actually build, right? So I really want, so what I have been putting out there is the institutionalization of the Nigerian Parliament, a better institutionalization of the Nigerian Parliament, so that every person, young people can be nominated easily. Young people, so there won't be all those too much of bureaucracy, and then the process won't be that long for people to understand. Okay, I can actually just participate in this platform, have the experience, know what the legislative procedures are, be close to governance, understand the structures and how they work.
Your call as a young parliamentarian, your call to fellow Nigerians in a nutshell.
Okay, so we need to push more. We need to push more, and then we need to hold our government accountable. More of the accountability is actually very important. So if you don't hold them accountable, you won't understand what they are doing, and then we cannot decide to say we are going for this particular person or that particular person. So we need to understand what they have been doing, and then so we need to hold them accountable more.
Well, Abbas, thank you so much for speaking to us on Political Arena. That is all what we have on Political Arena. Stay tuned for our S24 documentary and S24 report. Thank you.
Hello and welcome. This is CAC Briefing. On this episode, we discuss the joint CAC and NCC release with Justin Nidia, the SSA to the CAC Registrar General. The Corporate Affairs Commission and the Nigerian Communications Commission have introduced a new regulatory requirement aimed at strengthening oversight in Nigeria's telecommunications sector. Under the new directive, any transfer of ownership or shareholding amounting to 10% or more in a licensed telecommunications company must first receive a letter of no objection from the NCC before such changes can be registered by the CAC. The agency says the move is designed to promote transparency, protect competition, boost investor confidence, and ensure long-term stability in one of Nigeria's most strategic sectors. To help us understand what this means for investors, telecom operators, and the wider economy, we are joined by Justin Nidia, as I said earlier, the Special Advisor to CAC Registrar. You're welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you for having me. Good to be here.
Yes, sir, you're welcome. So, what informed this joint regulatory decision by NCC and CAC at this time?
Well, first of all, let's get it clear from the beginning that the requirements are not new. They were issued in the past. Okay, what is the press statement? And what informed the press statement is that it has been noted over time that the compliance level has been very low, particularly with respect to post registration compliance. We note, for instance, that from regulatory perspective, what you normally look at is what is called the entry point. That's what is more technically described as entry barriers. Then you also look at what is called market conduct. So those who have seen the press release will see clearly that they deal with the two issues, that is licensing and what is called competition directive. Okay.
Nice, sir. So you spoke about entry points, licensing, and all that. Why was the 10% ownership threshold chosen as the benchmark for requirements before prior approval?
Well, basically what informed that requirement is the need to prevent what is called monopoly. Okay, we recognize that the telecom sector is a very sensitive sector, both from security perspective and generally because of its perverse invasion of our life. It almost affects everybody. So there is the need to always ensure that no operator single-handedly or two or more operators determine what is called the market conduct, because that will open room for abuse.
Okay, so now basically it is just this whole press conference channel in addressing the monopoly of marketing in telecommunication sector. Okay, then how will this policy improve transparency and corporate governance within the telecommunication sector?
Well, for the transparency, what is expected is that before the operators themselves think of maybe transferring their shares, or what is more technically called restructuring in the ownership of the business, then they need to engage the Nigerian Communication Commission, first of all, to see that there are no security concerns with respect to the new shareholders. Then they will also vet that the share restructuring will not result into what is called dominance of a single individual or an entity in the market. So that is primarily the essence of the circular that had to do with market conduct.
Welcome to Security Update. In this edition, we bring you the latest developments on a deadly school attack in Borno State, among other security stories. Gunmen suspected to be linked to Boko Haram attacked Lasade Secondary School in Askira Ubalu Kugabet area of Borno State during ongoing secondary school examinations, abducting an unknown number of students. According to police, security forces are concerned over the safety of schools in the affected Northeast. Next, Troops of the Joint Task Force Northwest, Operation Fansanyama, have intensified operations against terrorists and bandits across Kaduna and Zamfara states, killing 2 suspected terrorists, rescuing 1 kidnapped victim, arresting 8 suspected collaborators, and recovering 110 rusted cows. The operations conducted between June 27 and 28 also led to the recovery of a motorcycle, ammunition, charms, and other items after troops engaged fleeing gunmen in separate firefights. Finally, the Delta State Police Command has announced significant progress in its fight against crime, revealing that 86 suspects involved in kidnapping, armed robbery, cultism, murder, and other offenses were arrested between April and June 2026. During the same period, police operatives rescued 18 kidnapped victims and recovered a cache of weapons, including firearms and ammunition, as part of intelligence-led operations carried out across the state. Police authorities say the successes were made possible by intelligence. That concludes to monitor these developments and provide timely, accurate as more information becomes available.
Hello and welcome to Tech Updates, where we bring you the latest developments shaping the world of technology and beyond. I am Gladys Asuko, and here are today's top stories. To start with, the federal government has made the National Identification Number, also known as the NIN, mandatory for key public services. Under a newly signed act, every Nigerian will now be required to present a valid NIN for banking transactions, passport applications, and telecommunication services. According to the National Identity Management Commission, the move is aimed at creating a more secure and unified identity system, improving service delivery, and strengthening efforts to combat identity fraud across the country. Moving on, Nigeria is taking another major step toward transforming its healthcare system through technology. The federal government has unveiled a 500 billion naira digital health investment plan designed to modernize the country's healthcare infrastructure. As part of the initiative, leadership has also been appointed for the newly established National Health Technology and Digitalized Agency. The agency will oversee efforts to integrate technologies into healthcare, improve patient data management, and enhance access to quality medical services nationwide. And finally, in Europe, lawmakers have agreed to extend the implementation timeline for key provisions of the European Union's Artificial Intelligence Act. The revised schedule means that standalone high-risk AI system will now be regulated from December 2027, while high-risk AI system embedded in products will come under the rules from August 2028. The extension is intended to give businesses, developers, and regulators more time to prepare for compliance while ensuring safe and responsible deployment of AI across the European Union. And that's all for today's tech update. I'll see you in our next segment. Bye for now.
Hello and welcome to your entertainment update on S24 Rundown. Begin with exciting news for Afrobeat fans as award-winning 6th studio album, Oriade. The singer made the announcement on his social media platforms, revealing that the 13-track album will be released on July 31st. Although the full track list and feature artists are yet to be unveiled, the announcement has already generated excitement among fans in Nigeria and across the world. With a track record of chart-topping projects and global collaborations, many are expecting Oriade to further showcase Davido's growth while continuing to elevate Afrobeat on the international stage. Now, beyond the music, the Nigerian Entertainment Conference, popularly known as NECLIFE, in collaboration with Front Yard Group, has released the 2026 State of Nigeria's Creative Economy Report. The report examines the progress of Nigeria's creative sector across music, film, fashion, and digital content, while highlighting key challenges such as funding, infrastructure, intellectual property protection, and access to global markets. Organizers say the report is intended to serve as a guide for industry stakeholders, investors, and policymakers as they work to unlock the full potential of Nigeria's growing creative economy. And finally, on the international scene, pop superstar Ariana Grande has announced changes to her Eternal Sunshine tour, postponing 3 scheduled performances because of the production delays. The affected shows include 1 concert in Brooklyn and 2 in Boston. In a message to fans, Grande said the decision was necessary to ensure production meets the standard she envisioned for the tour. She also reassured fans that all previously purchased tickets will remain valid for the rescheduled dates. And that's a wrap on today's entertainment update. I am Karimat Hassan. Stay tuned for our next segment.
If there's one thing the 2020 FIFA World Cup has taught us, is to expect the unexpected. 2 football heavyweights are heading home, while African football is making headlines beyond the pitch. Hello and welcome. I am Martha Oparanedu, and you're watching Sports Updates on S24 television. Here are the top stories making headlines in the sports world today. First up, Morocco have booked their place in the round of 16 of the 2026 FIFA World Cup after defeating the Netherlands 3-2 on penalties, following a 1-1 draw after extra time. The Netherlands look set to progress after taking the lead in the second half. However, Morocco produced a dramatic late equalizer deep into stoppage time to force extra time. With neither side able to find the winner after 120 minutes, the match was decided on penalties, where Morocco held their nerve to complete a memorable victory and end the Dutch campaign. The Atlas Lions will now face Canada in the round of 16 as they continue another impressive run on football's biggest stages. From one unforgettable upset to another, the surprises at this World Cup just keep coming. Paraguay have written a new chapter in their football history after knocking out 4-time world champions Germany on penalties to reach the round of 16. The contest ended 1-1 after extra time, with both sides unable to find a winning goal despite several chances. The match eventually went to a penalty shootout, where Paraguay composure to secure a famous victory and send one of football's biggest nations crashing out of the tournament. Paraguay now march into the round of 16 with confidence as their remarkable World Cup journey continues. And now, away from the excitement on the pitch, there's a major development in African football administration. The Confederation of African Football, CAF, has officially opened applications for the position of Permanent Secretary General, one of the organization's most important executive roles. The vacancy follows the resignation of the former Secretary General with Nigerian Football Administrator Samson Adamu, currently serving in an acting capacity. CAF says applications will remain open until July 10th, and qualified candidates from across the continent are encouraged to apply. If appointed, Samson Adamu will become the first Nigerian to serve as CAF's substantive Secretary General, marking a significant milestone for Nigerian football administration. And that's your sports update for today. Thanks for watching. Keep enjoying the beautiful game, and I'll be back with more sports stories in the next update. Until then, stay tuned as PG News is coming your way right after this break.
Hello, my country people. We don't come again with the better story where una supposed to know. They ask them Bola Ahmed Tinubu, so go fit contest for the 2027 presidential election. The group they allege say the president submit fake school certificate and in fake NY certificate give INEC when he be the contest election for 2023. And on top NYC matter, people don't they talk on top the changes where federal government don't approve for the National Youth Service Corps scheme. Many Nigerians they happy with the change, but some people they fear say the execution if you get a leg. Now the Federal Executive Council approved the reform, and the new rules now say civilians go they lead the operations. They use technology take call graduates go camp now, and they go check security risk where before they go deploy coppers. And orientation camp go now change to 6 weeks, so coppers go feel learn business and computer skills. Supporters going to talk say this change go prepare graduates for job and but other people still talk say past government don't make promises like this. We know you. They say make government focus on better food, better accommodation, and quick allowance payments first, give coppers. And federal government don't tell petroleum marketers when they reduce the price where they sell petrol. Since crude oil price don't drop for world markets, the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Henikin Lokpobiri, talk say because the fight for Middle East don't calm down small. The international price of crude oil too don't drop, so petrol suppose don't cheap way for Nigeria. In context, say even though government no fit force price on marketers again, according to the new Petroleum Industry Act, the regulators go still checkmate marketers, make they no cheat citizens. And federal government don dey ready to launch one electronic platform on Wednesday. This platform, they say, it go dey give correct data on top schools, teachers, and students across Nigeria as it dey happen live. The National Project Coordinator Adibayo Onibanjo talk to Abuja say this system it go cure the long-term problem of fake and scattered school register dey for Nigeria, and it go help government plan and share budget well. And inside health matter, Lagos State don record the highest number of new HIV infections for Nigeria inside the year 2025, with 10,430 new cases. This data comot from the State of Health of the Nation report, where the Federal Ministry of Health release. The report shows that 102,025 new HIV cases now happen nationwide. Lagos State come follow with 6,287 cases. Why can't we get 6,106 cases? Health experts talk say this number shows that HIV still be big monster inside the country. Even though Obodo we see say Uganda Chief of Defense Staff don't give order make soldiers shut down major private media companies for the country. This bad market don't cause fear on top press freedom matter. Soldiers don't block NTV Uganda and Spark TV, and they even take over the head office of Nation Media Group, where they publish daily monitor newspaper for Kampala. The son of Uganda president, now they defend this action, say the media houses go remain closed until he give order, may they open up. He can talk straight, say he no believe in press freedom at all. And he wants say more media houses face the same format. This heavy setup they happen as Uganda they prepare for another. Now the story where they carry from today, we will bring for you be that. God bless you now. We settle down to hear us. My name na Sidika Yusuf. Thank you, Sidikat, for that version of our news. And this brings us to the end of S24 News Rundown. Do join us next time. And remember to follow us on all our social media platforms at S24 Television for more updates and breaking stories. I am Gloria Atta, and bye for now.